The silence just shattered, and nothing about this is subtle. One speech. One phrase. One name not spoken out loud, and suddenly the entire internet is in free fall. Because what Teyana Taylor did last night wasn't just emotional, it was confirmation without confirmation, the kind that hits harder than a press release ever could. And now, the timeline is scrambling to catch its breath. For months, fans have been whispering, watching body language, zooming in on photos, freezing frames, asking the same question over and over again, did she move on? But no one expected her to answer like this, not with a headline, not with a caption, but with a moment so intimate it felt like we weren't supposed to hear it. When she referred to someone new as her apple pie, insiders say jaws dropped in the room, because they already knew exactly who she meant. And that's where everything detonated. Because that someone wasn't just anybody. It was Pierre, the man fans have been side-eyeing ever since those Oscar week photos surfaced, and broke the internet in half. The same man whose name kept popping up in alleged leaks. The same man people swore was just a friend. Until now. And let's be clear, this didn't happen in a vacuum. This comes after the quiet, complicated, and still messy unraveling of her marriage to Iman Shumpert. A breakup that insiders say was far more explosive behind closed doors than the public ever realized. Texts. Arguments. A moment that allegedly changed everything. And now, a new chapter opening in front of millions. Fans are celebrating. Critics are questioning the timing. And people close to the situation are warning, the story everyone thinks they know is only half of it. Because if this is the confirmation, the fallout hasn't even started yet. The moment the applause faded inside the Apollo, something shifted in the air that had nothing to do with awards and everything to do with truth finally slipping out. Teyana Taylor stood on that legendary stage, voice steady, smile calm, but insiders say her hands were shaking just enough to notice. Because everyone in that room understood the weight of what she was about to do. She didn't name him. She didn't point. She didn't confirm anything outright. But when she thanked my apple pie, the reaction was instant. Gasps. Side eyes. Phones clutched tight in laps. People knew. Within minutes, Twitter exploded. Screenshots of the speech spread like wildfire. Clips were slowed down. Lip readers went to work. Fans dissected every syllable. Because that phrase wasn't random. According to people close to her, it's a nickname she only uses in private, only for one person. And that person just happens to be Pierre. For months, the rumors had simmered. Quiet dinners spotted by fans. Coordinated outfits that felt too intentional to be coincidence. That now infamous Oscars appearance where they posed just close enough to spark chaos, but far enough to deny everything. Back then, insiders insisted it was harmless. Just friends. Just timing. Just Hollywood doing what Hollywood does. But after the Apollo moment, no one was buying that anymore. Because this wasn't just about a new man. This was about timing. The breakup with Iman Shumpert was never as clean as it looked on Instagram. Sources say the separation didn't start with lawyers or announcements, but with distance. Long nights. Missed calls. Conversations that went in circles until no one recognized each other anymore. On the outside, they still looked solid. On the inside, insiders claim things had been cracking for a long time. One alleged source described a final argument that changed the temperature forever. No screaming. No throwing things. Just a realization that neither of them was being honest about how unhappy they were. After that, everything moved quietly. Too quietly. And that silence is what made the Apollo speech feel so loud. Because while the public thought Teyana was still healing, people behind the scenes say she already had someone steadying her. Leaked DMs began circulating hours after the speech. Unverified, but detailed enough to cause panic. One message allegedly read, "She didn't plan to say it like that, but it felt right." Another claimed Aaron had been backstage, out of sight, watching the speech from the wings. No photos surfaced. No confirmation followed. But the idea alone sent fans spiraling. Iman's name immediately began trending. Some fans defended him fiercely, accusing Teyana of moving too fast. Others fired back, claiming she'd been carrying the emotional weight of the marriage alone for years. Old interviews resurfaced. Lyrics were reinterpreted. Even past red carpet moments were reanalyzed for signs people missed. The narrative split in half, and neither side was quiet. Then came the alleged confrontation. According to a blog known for celebrity blind items, Iman was blindsided by how public the moment felt. The same source claimed he reached out after the speech, not angry but hurt. Another insider contradicted that, saying he already knew and had made peace with it privately. Two stories. No confirmation. Maximum chaos. Meanwhile, Aaron Pierre's social media went dark. No posts. No stories. No likes. That silence only fueled speculation. Fans camped in his comment sections, demanding answers. Others praised him, calling him the upgrade no one expected. The internet, as usual, chose extremes. And still, neither he nor Teyana clarified anything. Industry reactions poured in quietly. A-list friends posted vague quotes about new chapters and choosing joy. Stylists and collaborators dropped heart emojis under Teyana's latest photos, like they knew something the rest of us didn't. One celebrity, when asked directly on a live stream, smiled and said, "I just want her happy." That clip went viral within minutes. But the most unsettling detail came from an alleged insider, who claimed the relationship didn't start after the breakup. It started near the end. No proof. No receipts. Just a claim that made people freeze. Because if that were true, it would reframe everything. The timing. The secrecy. The careful way Teyana spoke without naming names. Suddenly, that apple pie line didn't sound playful. It sounded intentional. Like a soft launch wrapped in poetry. And if that's the case, insiders warn, the next wave won't be celebratory. Because there are still details about the breakup that haven't surfaced. Still conversations that haven't leaked. Still emotions that haven't been processed publicly. And now that the confirmation has slipped through, people close to the situation say the pressure is building fast. Especially on Iman. Because according to one final whisper spreading through industry circles late last night, he hasn't told his side yet. And when he does, it could flip everything people think they know. By the next morning, the narrative had officially slipped out of anyone's control. This was no longer about a speech or a nickname. It was about timelines colliding in public, and everyone involved suddenly being forced to pick a side. Industry group chats were buzzing before sunrise, and one phrase kept popping up over and over again: "This didn't just start." According to multiple so-called insiders, Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre didn't stumble into each other after the dust settled. They were allegedly circling each other long before the breakup was made public, quietly, carefully, and with an understanding that nothing could leak. The reason? Optics. Timing. And the reality that one wrong move would turn admiration into accusation overnight. Then the alleged receipts started surfacing. A private group chat screenshot, unverified, but disturbingly specific, claimed Aaron was already a safe space for Teyana during the final months of her marriage. Not physical, at least not at first, but emotional. Late-night phone calls. Long conversations about exhaustion, pressure, and feeling unseen. One alleged message read, "He listens in a way I forgot was possible." That single line was reposted thousands of times before the account went private. Fans immediately split into factions. One side argued emotional support isn't cheating. The other side said emotional intimacy is where betrayal actually begins. The debate turned vicious. TikTok creators stitched clips of Teyana and Iman Shumpert from years ago, pointing out moments where she looked tired, distant, or overly composed. Others dragged up Iman's old interviews, accusing him of being dismissive or ego-driven. Every clip became evidence. Every pause became suspicious. And through all of it, Iman stayed quiet. That silence didn't read as peace, it read as pressure. According to one insider, Iman was advised not to respond publicly, because the story wasn't done revealing itself yet. Another claimed he was furious, not about Aaron specifically, but about feeling replaced in the narrative before he ever spoke. A third alleged he felt the Apollo moment crossed an unspoken line, making something public that he thought was still private. Then came the alleged backstage tension. A source connected to the awards event claimed there was a brief moment after Teyana's speech where Iman's name was mentioned in a side conversation, and the energy shifted immediately. No yelling. No scene. Just discomfort. According to that source, someone close to Teyana asked if she was worried about how he'd react. Her alleged response: "He's known longer than they think." That sentence alone lit the internet on fire. If true, it would mean the public announcement lagged far behind the private reality. And that's when the whispers turned darker. A few gossip blogs began suggesting Iman wasn't just dealing with heartbreak, he was dealing with embarrassment. That his inner circle felt the rollout made him look like the last to know, even if he wasn't. Meanwhile, Pierre's absence became a statement of its own. Friends of the actor allegedly encouraged him to stay silent, warning that any public move would be misinterpreted as bragging or provocation. According to one entertainment reporter, Aaron was deeply aware of how quickly fans could turn, and didn't want to be framed as the villain in a story that wasn't finished. That restraint, ironically, made him look more intentional, more confident, and fans noticed. Celebrity reactions quietly fueled the fire. An actress who once worked closely with Teyana liked a tweet that read, "Women deserve softness after survival." That like was screenshot, reposted, and treated like confirmation. A musician posted a cryptic story saying, "When love shows up gently, you protect it." No names. No explanations. Just enough to keep speculation boiling. But the most explosive claim dropped late that night. An anonymous account alleged that the final breakup conversation between Teyana and Iman included Aaron's name, not as an affair, but as a mirror. According to that post, Teyana allegedly told Iman, "I finally feel heard, and that scares me." The implication wasn't betrayal. It was comparison. And comparisons, insiders say, are often the point of no return. The internet reacted instantly. Some accused Teyana of rewriting history to justify moving on. Others said the marriage had already ended emotionally and the public was just late to the truth. Think pieces popped up overnight. Comment sections became battlefields. Even people who didn't care about celebrity relationships suddenly had opinions. And still, no official confirmation. No couple photos. No captions. No statements. Just that single phrase echoing louder every hour, "My apple pie." According to a final whisper circulating among publicists, that restraint is intentional. The idea is to let the noise burn itself out before stepping forward together. But there's a problem with that strategy, because the longer they wait, the more room there is for speculation to harden into belief. And belief is harder to undo than rumor. Especially when there's one unresolved piece hanging in the air. Because insiders say a man hasn't said his last word, he's just deciding how to say it. And when that happens, the tone of this entire story could change overnight. By the time the third wave hit, the chaos wasn't loud anymore, it was heavy. The kind of silence that settles after everyone realizes this isn't a rumor cycle, it's a permanent shift. And at the center of it all was Teyana Taylor, moving with a calm that only made people more uneasy. Because when someone stops explaining, it usually means the decision has already been made. According to multiple behind-the-scenes whispers, Teyana didn't expect the apple pie moment to detonate the way it did. She expected curiosity, not combustion. What she allegedly underestimated was how many unresolved emotions were still attached to her marriage, and how quickly the public would demand closure from someone who had already moved on privately. One insider claimed she told a friend, "I'm not hiding. I'm just not performing pain anymore." That line spread through group chats like wildfire. Meanwhile, Iman Shumpert remained publicly silent, but privately, sources say, he was anything but detached. Not explosive. Not reckless. Just deeply unsettled by the speed at which the narrative was solidifying without his voice. One alleged insider described him as hurt more by the perception than the reality, suggesting he knew the relationship was over, but not that the ending would look like this. Then came the rumors of a statement. Entertainment reporters claimed Iman had drafted something, not an attack, not a tell-all, but a clarification. A way to acknowledge the end without feeding the frenzy. According to those whispers, he was advised against releasing it, warned that anything short of full confirmation would be dissected, weaponized, and misinterpreted. The advice was simple: wait. Let the truth surface on its own. That waiting changed the balance of power. Because while Iman stayed still, Pierre became the center of attention without saying a single word. His name trended daily. Fan edits appeared out of nowhere. Old interviews were recirculated, now framed as evidence of emotional intelligence and restraint. The internet began constructing a narrative around him, calm, grounded, intentional, whether he asked for it or not. And that narrative made people uncomfortable. According to one insider, the biggest tension wasn't between the men, it was between timelines. The question everyone kept asking wasn't who Teyana chose, but when. And the longer she avoided clarifying that, the more people filled in the blanks themselves. Some claimed overlap. Others insisted on emotional proximity only. A few went further, accusing the rollout of being calculated to soften backlash. Teyana's inner circle allegedly pushed back hard on that. One source claimed she was frustrated by the idea that her healing needed to be justified at all. That after years of being publicly defined by her marriage, she was finally allowing herself to be defined by her peace. She doesn't feel like she owes the internet a timeline, the source said. She already lived it. That defiance showed up subtly. A cryptic post. A song choice in a story. A quiet appearance where she looked unbothered in a way that felt deliberate. Fans noticed. Critics noticed more. The debate shifted again, from betrayal to autonomy, from scandal to self-preservation. And just when it seemed like the story might settle into acceptance, one last rumor reignited everything. An anonymous account claimed Iman had been seen with friends expressing that he felt written out of his own ending. Not angry. Not vengeful. Just erased. The account suggested that was the part he was still grappling with, not losing the relationship, but losing control of how it ended publicly. The post vanished within an hour, but the damage was done. Because that idea resonated. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about cheating or timelines. It was about narrative power. Who gets to tell the story when a marriage ends? Who gets sympathy? Who gets to move on without explanation? And why does silence feel like victory in one direction and defeat in the other? As for Aaron, insiders say he's fully aware that the next move matters more than the first. A public appearance together could seal the narrative, or shatter it. A joint photo could end speculation, or provoke a new wave of backlash. According to one entertainment publicist, the longer they wait, the more intentional it feels. And intention is what people respond to. Still, no confirmation came. No hand-holding photos. No red carpet debut. No captions spelling it out. Just that one moment at the Apollo echoing louder with time, reframed as a turning point instead of a slip. People close to Teyana say she's at peace with that she knew the second she said it, there was no going back. But peace doesn't stop consequences. Because industry insiders are now watching closely to see what happens next. A project announcement. A public sighting. Or, most dangerously, a statement from Iman that reframes the entire timeline. According to one final whisper circulating late last night, he's still deciding whether to speak at all. And if he does, it won't be reactive. It'll be deliberate. And that single decision could determine whether this story ends as a celebration of new love, or a re-examination of everything that came before it. If you're still here, don't scroll away, because this is exactly the kind of story that keeps changing after the cameras turn off. What you just watched isn't the ending, it's the pause. The calm before the next reveal. In situations like this, the loud moments grab headlines, but the quiet ones, those are where the real decisions get made. This is the point where you lock in. Hit like right now, because that tells the algorithm you want the unfiltered breakdowns, not the polished PR versions that show up days later. Drop a comment with your honest take, because the comment section is where the smartest theories surface, and where insiders always seem to peak before the next leak hits. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now with notifications on, because when this story updates, and it won't wait for you to catch up. You don't want to hear about the next chapter secondhand. You don't want to miss the moment a single post, sighting, or statement flips the entire narrative overnight. These stories move fast, and once the truth lands, there's no rewinding the timeline. Stay connected. Stay watching. Because in celebrity culture, the real ending never comes with a warning, it just drops.